So, guys, let's begin with our today's series of lecture. We are going to look at the next concept in Java. See, methods concept is not over. I will repeat all of these concepts again more practically when we start doing some programs in advanced Java. Okay? But we are good to go with the next concept, which is constructors in Java. Okay, so let's write down the heading constructors in Java. Constructors in Java. Now, what are constructors in Java? How do we create constructors in Java? What are the steps that we need to take in order to call a constructor? Let's see that. Point number one, constructor should have should have same name as that of class. What is point number one? Constructor should have same name as that of class. See this here. Now, I'm going to teach you how to install these IDEs later, but let me type the code here and I will explain. You keep practicing in the online IDEs, which we have mentioned earlier. Okay? So let's go here and create one constructor. So to create a constructor, first thing is the class name and the constructor name should be same. So when you create a constructor, we use the same name as that of class, a parenthesis and curly braces. Fine. We can write some code in it. Let me write here 100 and a main method. You can create a constructor after main, before main, but not inside main. Keep this in mind. This is like adding extra page. You cannot create a page within page. Pages are always separate. So methods, constructors, they are all like separate pages. Analogy, day one of my Java class that I gave. That this is like outer cover of the book and these are the pages of the book. Fine. You can write it here or you can write it after method. Usually we write constructors in the beginning. Okay. The second thing is if I run this code, I'll get no output. Absolutely, there is no output when I run this code. Why, sir? Because constructors to run, you have to create an object. Okay? After creating an object, I can use this constructor. See this? When constructor needs to be called, simply create object. So from line 7, it will call which line? 3. And then stops at 4. Okay? So if I now create one more object, let's say I'm creating one more object, A2. Now if I run, what will happen? If I create one more object, what will happen? How many times this is called? 3 times. It is called now how many times? 3 times. So what is the output? Did you understand? So let's write here. Point number 2. Whenever we create object, constructor is being called. Okay? Constructor is being called. Fine? Write down. Both the points clear with that? Write the code without seeing. Do not simply copy the code, write the code without seeing. Done? Okay, example number two. See this here. Now, I'm going to create a constructor, right? And in this, I'm going to write some argument. Okay? We are going to write some argument in this constructor. Now, let's print here SYSOX. Next thing, let me write here main method. This time, when I create an object, guys, supply some value to it. Okay? So the value from line 7, that's 100, will be passed on to line 3 to this variable x. The variable x here acts like local variable. What do you mean by that? It means that you cannot use this variable outside the constructor. Keep that in mind. The next thing, again, if I call this same constructor with second object, it will print 200. Again, if I call with third object, it will print 300. Is this part clear, all of you? Did you understand? Please write down the next example quickly. ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ರೀ ನಾ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ. All right, everybody done? Now, look at here. Next, we are going to look at a important concept about constructor, which is this. Constructors, constructors can never constructors can never return any value. It is void. Okay? Are you understanding now? If you want to return a value in constructor, that is never possible. It is always what? Void. Observe this here now. So if I go here, build a constructor, and if I now write here SYSO 100, let's use here return space value. What do you see here? Okay. If you very carefully observe the error message, what it says, got it, everyone? So you cannot return any value inside a constructor because constructors are always void. Okay, constructors are what? Void. Is this point clear, guys? Yes. Online students, please write down next important point. Make a note of it. See, we'll talk about the use cases when we use constructor. When object is created, right? There are certain tasks you would like to execute. Correct? Could be object created, you want to connect with database. Object created, you want to open up a file. Object created, you want to do some other activity. So these all practicals we can implement only in projects. If I give you some, dog, cat examples, that's of no use. It's only for understanding Java. Okay, we can still use that. But when it comes to interview, you cannot give such examples in interview. It has to be very realistic examples. Okay? So we'll see that as and when we proceed further, I will explain all that more in depth manner. Okay, let's go here. Now, let's write down quickly the next example with an error message. Next example with a error message. Write down. Done? We'll talk about that. That is the next thing. Okay, see this here. Now it is void. If it is void, can I use only return keyword in void? Yesterday I explained return and return value. When do we use only return keyword? When it is void. Is constructor void? Yes. If it is void, can I use only return here? Okay. So how will this program execute then? Let's see that. We'll do this here in one IDE. Let me create here a class. Okay. We'll debug this. We don't know debugging yet, but I will teach you this later. Let's write here A1, A1 is equal to new A. Fine. Now put a breakpoint here. Let's run this in the debug mode. See this. We will see from line number 9. The program will stop at line number 9. We'll see in slow motion from line 9 how the program is executing. Correct? If it is void, return keyword can be used. Main method is void. Can I use return keyword inside main? Yes, you can use. Anything that is void inside that return keyword can be used, but return value keyword cannot be used. See this now. Okay. Now, let's observe from this line, number 9, I'm going to which line? 4. And then 5. Return keyword. Where it will return to? It will return to the place from where it was called. Can you tell me from which line number did I call this? 9. So this will go back to line 9. When it goes to line 9, when it goes to line 9, object's address will get stored in A1. Closing bracket of main. See, this is your object's address. Object's address got stored. Closing bracket of main, program stops. Did you understand? Yes. Okay. Now observe. I'll remove this return keyword. This time, if the return keyword is not there, then for returning the value, what it will do? It will take the closing bracket of constructor. Isn't it? See this now? From line 9, which line will it go to? 4. Very good. From line 4, line 5. What is it printing? 100. Closing bracket of constructor. If return keyword is not there, then closing bracket. From closing bracket, it will go to which line? 8. It will go to line 8 because it has to firstly store object's address in A1. And after storing object's address, 9. Closing bracket of main stops. Did you understand? Everyone now clear? Yes. So writing return keyword will give us more readability, but it is optional. It is not mandatory. Fine. It is optional, not mandatory. Everybody clear with this? Yes. Some fellow did not understand. Varun, why is it so difficult? See this here. Application. I'm running in debug mode. I'm at which line? Line number 9. From line 9, it is going to which line? 4. When object is created, constructor is called. From line 4, 100. Closing bracket. No, return keyword. Since there's a return keyword, from line 6, it will go to line number 9. Store the address, closing bracket, stop. Did you understand now? Please write this program. Every class, if you are attending, practicing, coming next day, you will not have doubts. Right? Every day, what I'm teaching, revision should be from the beginning every day. Day 1, today, 7th class. So, 7 classes of Java that I've covered, revise all 7 classes. Revision should be like that. Okay? Done. Continue. So, Mohammed, if you missed my earlier class on YouTube, there is one playlist I've created of the demo class. Okay, you can ask the staff, call this number. Call 9632629033. They will share that playlist. Cover that up. Then you will be able to follow the classes more nicely. Okay, let's continue further. Now, the next thing we are going to look at is some important note. Note. If we use void keyword and then create a constructor, if you use void keyword and then create a constructor, then what happens? Then what happens? This is the question. Okay. If you use void keyword and then create a constructor, then what happens? See this here. I will now do one thing. Here, I will use a void keyword and create a constructor. Now what happens? If I create an object, observe, it will not be called. If you use a void keyword and create a constructor, then this will become method. It is no longer a constructor. It is no longer a constructor. Did you understand this? What am I telling you? Yes, it is no longer a constructor. Correct? Observe. Run this again. Save the file. Run this. Is it printing anything? Correct? So if you use void keyword and create a constructor, then it's a method. It is no longer a. How do you call a method? By creating object. This method here is non-static. Sir, how did you know it is non-static? Can you tell me? Static keyword is missing. So how do I call this method then? A1 dot A1 dot A. Correct? Now run and see. Working? So read this point now. Okay? So let's use this now. Go back to our notes. What happens? The answer is okay. It's treated as method. It is no longer a constructor. Did you understand the meaning of it now? What happens when we write void? Make a note of it. Yes. Method name, class name, variable name can be same. Method name, class name, variable name also you can keep it same. Continue. Yes. Okay. Please write this program. Best way to practice coding, take a sheet of paper, write the programs. Then you type. Okay. First, syntax clarity, concept clarity. Write it on sheet of paper. That will give you syntax and concept clarity. Then type the code. Sir, why we use return? Sir, why use return, sir? Without return, program run. Yeah, it is optional. It is for readability. See, when you write return keyword, it's more readable, no? That from here, it will return the control to the place from where it is called. It is more readable here. And even if you don't write it, there is something called as compilation phase. In that, automatically return keyword will be added, which we'll see later. Okay? Java, compile time and run time. Is this clear? Everyone? Continue? Okay. Now, what if I write here int? Can you tell me why there is an error here now? Huh? I'm not returning value. When I write int, it is mandatory to return value. So let's return some value. Can you tell me from line 4, where is it returning value? To which line is it returning value? Can you tell me from line 4 to which line is it returning value? Obviously, it is called from line 8. See, it calls from line 8. So return keyword will return 500 to line 8. That returning value, let us store it in a variable. Correct? And let us print that. Okay, so these all are methods. Don't get confused. Though the name is same as that of class, it's a method. It is no longer a constructor. Okay, try to write down without seeing. Try to write down without seeing, guys. Hope online students able to understand. Online students able to understand. Yes. Is it done? Now we are going to look at next concept, which is constructor overloading. Constructor overloading. Right? What do you mean by constructor overloading? Let me define that here, then I'll explain. Here we create more than one constructor in same class, provided provided they have different number of arguments. They have different number of arguments, or arguments, what's happening, or different different type of arguments. What do you mean by that? Let's see this here. Now, what we do in constructor overloading, we create more than one constructor in same class. But how to create more than one constructor in same class? So, in order to create more than one constructor in same class, they should have different number of arguments. Let's try to understand till here firstly. What does it mean? See here. I'm going to now create a constructor, and let me add one more constructor. So here, number of arcs is 0. And here also, the number of arcs is 0. Error. Because the number of arguments are same. Make the number of arguments different, and you can create more than one constructor. So let me create here one argument, int x. Is the error gone? Once again, now if I create a constructor with same argument, what do you see? Error. Let's create here two arguments, int y. Now here, the argument x in this constructor and argument x and y in this constructor, notice names of arguments here are same. That's okay. It can be. Okay, that will not give you any error. Is this clear, everyone? Okay. Now observe. The next thing, I'm going to here print, I'm going to print here now 1. In this case, let us print x. In this case, let us print x, and let us print y. Okay? Is this clear? I want to call this constructor. So create an object a1 is equal to new a. Okay, see line number 14. We'll call line number 3. Line number 15. Line number 15. Okay? Let me supply 2 here. Which constructor will it call? Line number 15 will call line number? Very good. Now, next constructor. Next constructor. 3 comma 4. So line number 16 will call which constructor? Excellent. Okay, run and see. Is this clear? Everyone? Now we have just understood partially this definition. Here we create more than one constructor in same class provided they have different number of arguments. Till here definition is clear. Correct? Write down the complete definition. I'll explain this next. Is the definition done? Okay. Now make a note of this example. Make a note of this example. You can write this in any order. Okay. There is nothing to do with the order here. You can write in any order. You can call in any order. See, I can also call like this. It is up to your requirement in your project. You take a call. Okay. Write constructor in any order, call in any order. That doesn't matter. Is this clear? Everyone? Now observe the next thing. Now we are going to look at the next thing here is different type of arguments. Fine. We'll try to understand now what is the meaning of different type of arguments. So in this case, I will now quickly uh, delete these things. Firstly, I'll create one constructor where the number of arguments is 1 and the type of argument here is int. Make sense? Now what I'll do, I'll create one more constructor where I will make this. So number of argument is still 1, but the type is what? Boolean. Next one. I'll create one more constructor where it is double. Right? So what is the type here? Double. Did you understand? Still I can create multiple constructors. So if you now observe print x, let's print x here. Let's print x here. Let's call this a1 is equal to new a. So I'm supplying here what? So which constructor will be called? From line 13 it will call line 3. Next, a2 is equal to new a. Let us apply true. Which constructor will it call? Line number 6. A3 is equal to new a. 10.3. Which constructor? Line number 9. Output is 10 true, 10.3. Did you understand? Everyone clear with this now? Yes. So this is what I meant here. Either the type of argument or the number of arguments, if they're different, then we can perform constructor overloading. Okay? We can also do both together. I'll show you that. Write down quickly. Okay? Done. Now, see, we can do both the things as well. Okay? That is the number of arguments type. It can also be the type of argument is different and also the number of arguments are different. Right? So here you notice the number of arguments are different and the type is also different. Okay? Let's write here false. Let's delete this. So line number 11 will call 3 and line number 12 will call 6. Run and see. Why is it not printing false? What we should have added here? Y. Run and see. Clear with this? It's 10 true and then what? False. Make a note of it. Everybody got this thing? Doesn't matter. Interchange that. You can do that. No problem. You can make this as int x and you can make this as boolean y. You can make this boolean y, this int x. As long as the constructors are different. See, while I'm calling constructor, there should not be any confusion. When I'm creating object, it should call this constructor. It should not be confusion that while I'm doing this, it will call this or this constructor. If one object creation is attempting to call multiple constructors because they are same, then there is a problem. Okay, otherwise there is no problem. Okay, see, all concepts that I'm taking now will again be repeated in part 2 with more information added to it. It will not get over in one lecture. Fine. Next, we are going to look at this keyword with constructor, this keyword with static, this keyword with non-static, this keyword with methods. So again, these concepts will be repeated, but we'll try to understand what you mean by this keyword. Okay? One class can have only one constructor. No, see, one class has so many constructors here. Akash, is it one constructor here? How many constructors are here? Then, okay. So for today, this is enough. Okay, practice this much. So today we have completed class 7, right? Practicing, be very serious about it. It's a very lengthy course. So it's not something that, just basic information you gather and you can crack the interview. It's a very lengthy course, correct? We have just started our journey of learning. Long way to go. So that habit of practicing, preparing, revising the things regularly, forming a group, giving mock interviews, this all you have to take care of it. Okay? Simply don't attend the classes, because after 30 classes, if you have not practiced, then you will start losing the confidence, because your friends would have by then practiced and understood those concepts well. Okay? Best of luck. We have this Saturday again alumni meet, that is at 12:30. Every Saturday this is a fixed show, as long as I'm not busy. So that will give us lot of information about the syllabus to study. See, rather training, assuming and telling. You study this question will guaranteed it will come. How does the trainer know? He has left the job. I left the industry. Correct. What's happening right now in the industry? Are we astrologers to know that? Until and unless that interactions with the placed candidates does not happen, the questions are not gathered from them, we will not know what is happening. So these questions are very important for us. Okay? Which later I will be sharing it with you. Bye guys. Take care.